This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Special Chronicles presents Road to Special Olympics 2026 USA Games. Real athletes, real stories, real moments from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. Follow the full 10-part series at specialchronicles.com/2026USA Games. That's specialchronicles.com/2026USA Games, or scan the QR code right above. Today, we're joined by someone who embodies that spirit. Katelin Zandi, a dedicated member of Team Illinois staff who works every day to support athletes like myself, families, and programs across the state. And please put your virtual hands together as we welcome Katelin on Special Chronicles. Welcome, Katelin.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi, it's good to have you on the program, and I think you've probably been following or listening or subscribing to the program for a while, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I am amazed by all that you do. I was just backstage, which is really cool. So thank you for that experience. No, you're awesome, and everything you're doing is incredible for so many. So thanks for all that you do.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe over 800 and I don't know what episode this is. When the episode drops, people will be able to see, but 800 and something. I never would have imagined the impact to still be making almost 20 years later with this program.
Yeah, absolutely. You are making a huge impact. So I hope you know that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad to have you on. And before we dive into the reason why we're having you on, share with our listeners how we got connected as well as your day job. Because I know in the pre-show or when we were setting up this interview, you told me that your day job is not your role with Team Illinois, which we'll get to in just a moment. But before we even get to that, share with our listeners how we got connected as well as your day job.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with Special Olympics Illinois for a little over 9 years now. Started as a manager of sports, and now I am the senior director of volunteer and community engagement. So my current role, I support our staff and our volunteers and just community members in general who are supporters throughout the state. So ensuring that our volunteers are having a good experience, really helping with the recruitment, the retention, the recognition of those volunteers, and then just getting more community members involved, getting the word out about our athletes and Special Olympics Illinois, and ensuring that our staff have the resources that they need to provide quality experience for everyone involved. So in a nutshell, that is my position. Prior to this role, I was the Region C director, which Daniel is the region that you are a part of. So watched you swim, met you through that. I also oversee the athlete leadership team, which Daniel, you are an athlete leader. So lots of different ways that we have connected throughout the years for sure.
Awesome. And with your day job, we'll have to talk off air about my other employer, the number that in a way that there's a part of them that supports the Unified Work Series on this podcast. So I can say them by name, but I'll just say the number one airline in the world. We'll have to talk to off air about maybe we get some of the those employees to come in and volunteer at all.
Absolutely,
events.
I know that we have tons of them that already volunteer, and we're so grateful.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I completely forgot. Yeah. I've now that you said that, it jogs my memory. I've heard many stories of those employees coming out to our spring games and other events.
Exactly. So, we had probably over 250 of them at our Chicago spring games.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So if any of you are listening and you want to don't have time to come up to Minnesota, if you are in the Illinois state, get in touch with Zandi. Sorry,
it's okay. You can call me Zandi.
name is Katelin. To get your company or get your employees to come out and volunteer at our events.
Yes, absolutely.
And they can do that by going to soil.org, or what's the best way?
soil.org/volunteers, or you can email me, K, last name Zandi, at soill.org. Yeah, we would love to have anybody and everybody who's looking to support and volunteer in Illinois throughout the entire state. Thanks for letting me plug that, Daniel. Appreciate it.
It was just an impromptu thought to add. But you have to send me that information, and I'll put that in the description for this episode. Let's now get into the main reason that we are having you on the program. And first, thank you again for being here. And to start, share with our listeners, share with our viewers what your role with Team Illinois looks like and how it connects to athletes that are preparing for the 2026 USA Games.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a unique opportunity, which I'm really excited about. I am actually covering media and communications for Team Illinois at USA Games. So I'm so excited about that because it means I literally get to be everywhere, anywhere, all the places. And I have to cover, almost everything. And I also get like special access to get into different places. I get like on court, different areas where I get to be, so I can get those pictures and interviews and things like that. So covering all of the media for Team Illinois so that everyone following back home and around the world can see what Team Illinois is up to. So I'm truly excited and feel honored to be able to do that, and I can't wait.
Awesome. And we should, in addition to what you're doing for Team Illinois, we should mention to our listeners, if you want to follow individual athletes, you can download the USA Games app on iPhone or Android, correct?
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
Awesome. I wasn't, I downloaded it and I wasn't even sure what the name,
I think if you just search Special Olympics USA Games, you'll find it. But it's a really awesome app, and you can follow specific athletes, and you can look at their schedule and their results, and it's looking like it's going to be super helpful for me throughout the week for sure. So
same here as well. So so folks definitely go and download that in addition to following Candy and Team Illinois. Speaking of following Team Illinois, what's the best place to? Is there a newsletter, social media? Because I know sometimes with social media it can be very crowded online there. So what's the best? Nothing against social media, but what's the best place for our listeners and viewers to follow?
Yeah, I think our website, we have a specific Team Illinois website where different stories will be updated, but honestly, to get like the day-to-day and kind of the most updated, I would say probably our Instagram for Special Olympics Illinois. So you can just search on Instagram Special Olympics Illinois. And honestly, I know it's social media, but that would probably be the best just to stay up to date with our stories and things like that. But we also have a dedicated website as well.
Yeah, awesome. I totally understand. And just like if I at Special Chronicles, I created a landing page and we've got a newsletter, but I will probably be using the Special Chronicles Instagram as well to share stories because that's usually the most easiest on the ground way.
Absolutely.
Let's now dive into the local impact. The local program impact. Back when I was at the World Games in Berlin, I got to speak on a panel talking particularly about athlete leadership, but it was a program. It was a panel about the local program and the impact of local programs. So Special Olympics is built, as you know, on community. Talk to our listeners about how you have seen local programs across Illinois step up to support athletes on their journey to Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously our athletes train with their local programs, which is crucial. So the support that we have from our local programs, we're a larger state, so we're not able to get everyone together to practice as often as we would like. So they're practicing with their local programs, but then they're also practicing with our USA Games coaches who are from local programs. So those coaches apply to be part of Team Illinois, and they have regular communication with their athletes across the state. I know we have 8 swimmers, and they are from the tip of the state all the way down to Carbondale. So our 2 coaches who are both from local teams, local programs, they are doing an incredible job working with them. They also work with the athletes' local teams to talk about training regimens and what that can look like. So there's so much collaboration just from all across the board, all across the state, to make sure that our athletes are well prepared and comfortable in the events that they're participating in. So without the support of our local programs, whether they're actually a part of Team Illinois or whether they are the athletes, home coaches, is crucial, because without that, our athletes wouldn't be prepared for the games. So yeah,
Awesome.
Lots of collaboration all across the board.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I want to just highlight something you said about the just how powerful the coaches are helping athletes train. And on this episode 4 of this series, just before or after this segment, I've had Coach Matt, who's coaching Boeing for Team Illinois. So if listeners, you can stay tuned, or either fast forward or rewind, depending on where this interview falls in the episode, and hear the coach's perspective. Let's now dive into the Midwest Pride, because these USA Games are happening in Minnesota. I thought Minnesota was up north, but I guess it's still part of the Midwest. And just like on the last episode with the Unified Partner, I thought I was good with geography, but didn't really know exactly what state was to the west of Minnesota. But with that, the USA Games, as we all know, brings together athletes from all over the country. What does it mean, particularly for Illinois athletes, to be part of something this big, this national level, especially with the games happening so close to home in the Midwest?
Yeah, I have talked with so many athletes, and going to USA Games or World Games is their goal. A lot of them have worked for years and years to have this opportunity, and it's not as simple as getting a gold medal at state and automatically advancing to USA Games, as you know, Daniel. So yeah, there is a large bidding process and lots of things that go into that to be able to go to USA Games. And so I think it's incredible that these athletes get the opportunity. And I think it's even more special that it is close to home, because a lot of families get to go as well. It's drivable, obviously, from Illinois. We're taking charter buses versus flying, which I can't decide if I'm excited about that or not, but to be determined. No, it'll be a great time. And I know that although a lot of families, they can't take off work for a whole week or what have you, but they might be able to find a couple days here and there to pop up and be able to watch their athlete or, even family and friends. So I think that we'll have a big turnout with our fans because it is so close to home, which is really, really exciting. And I think, like I said, the athletes really just, a lot of them, this is their ultimate goal, is to be able to do this. So it's just really awesome to be able to watch them prepare for these games and watch them grow. And I can't wait to obviously watch them compete in a couple weeks now.
Yeah, and by the time our listeners hear this, it's happening this week. By the time you all hear this, I want to just highlight something briefly. What you said about how a lot of us athletes dream. I mean, that's one of my dreams, is to be able to compete at the USA or the World Games. And in talking with other athletes, both on the I don't know if you could say pod waves, not radio waves, but on the pod waves as well as off the mic as well with teammates and other athletes. It really is a big dream to get selected for whether it's the national or the international level. So hopefully someday in the future, I'll get that opportunity to step away from the microphone to compete as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that for you too, Daniel. I'm sure it will happen.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'm even trying some other, one of my coworkers wants to do unified cornhole with me next year. So, and then, this is my third year competing in bocce. So I'm trying, some other sports to, because, swimming for so long, I stopped during the pandemic and, so I'm maybe with trying some other sports, maybe that could eventually get me to the USA or the World Games.
Yeah, absolutely. It could for sure. And, I think a lot of people don't understand the process of getting through to USA Games. And it's a very small percentage of athletes that, are able to do that. And a lot of it does just depend on, like I said, the slots that we receive. So, you can have the best athlete in the world and they might not have the opportunity to go to USA Games just because that's not where the chips fall that year or, within that timing. So if you don't make it, it doesn't mean that you're not a great athlete. For anybody listening, it doesn't determine your status, or it's not a failure if you, don't end up going to a larger games. But I know that it is a huge opportunity and a goal of many, which is an awesome goal to have.
Awesome. Absolutely. Let's now switch over to working with all different types of people. You work closely, particularly with families and coaches and volunteers. What does a strong support system look like from your perspective as a staff?
A support system of our athletes.
Yeah, of
Special Olympics.
Particularly of families, coaches, volunteers, and athletes and staff. Like your perspective of staff of that. All working together.
Yeah, I mean, we are so privileged in Illinois that we have so many supporters who don't have one title. They're a family member, they're a supporter, they're a donor, they're a volunteer, they're a committee member. Like, we are just so fortunate that we have so many people who are ingrained in our mission and what we do, and that is truly incredible. So I think that, and then you can have somebody who might just come out to one event and volunteer their time for 3 hours. And whether your impact is small or large and year round, and you just, Special Olympics is part of your life, that what you're doing makes a difference, whether it's small or large. We can't run our events without volunteers. So if you volunteer one time, which we hope you'll have a good time and come back, and it's only for a couple of hours, you have made an impact, because we truly cannot run our events and we can't provide our athletes with these opportunities without our volunteers. So I think a support system is just somebody who's supporting in one way or another, whether it's small or large. And like I said, we have so many people who hold so many roles and positions and titles within our organization that, they are truly making a difference. So I don't think a support system per se has one picture, but if you're supporting in one way or another, large or small, it's truly impactful.
Well, speaking of that, I know that there's some without giving any names, but those like, I know that there's one family whose dad is a coach and a volunteer and a fundraiser and obviously a family member. And then there was another family whose dad is I think the head of the of a coach one of a OETL, who's also I just found out is also coaching his son's basketball team, and is a family member. You probably know who I'm talking about. And so it's it's neat that we have so many of those different titles and names, and that I wanted to also kind of add on to what you said, and you can correct me if this is totally off, but it might be on point. And that is even the people who fundraise, whether it's a polo plunge or duck derby or plane pole or all different, or the champions ball, all these different. Would you agree that even the people who are donating to these fundraising, like for example, with the plane pole, the polo plunge that we just did the beginning of this year, like all those co-workers that I got to donate to the polo plunge, they are, just by them donating $10, $20, $50, that's supporting. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yes. That is so impactful. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, Daniel. That is so crucial. And one of my goals, or just maybe a call to action, is if you are a donor, come out to a local event and see the impact that your dollars are making. I know for Polar Plunge, a lot of people, they're like, oh, Daniel, I love Daniel, I'm going to donate to Daniel. And yes, we love that, but you actually donated to thousands of other athletes as well. You know, you supported Daniel, but because of your support, you're making a difference for so many other athletes as well. So if you ever see a Special Olympics event in your area, or you can check out our website, I truly kind of push that you go and see the impact and the difference that you're making, because dollars allow us to put on those competitions and those events and those athlete leadership programs. So yeah, you hit it on the head there, Daniel. Yes, everybody monetarily or voluntarily is making an impact. Absolutely.
Awesome. And this one coworker that wants to do unified bowling with me, she has, before us athletes started to work at United, she didn't have any experience with Special Olympics already. I don't think anybody with a disability. And now, 7 years later, she wants to and not only not knowing anything about about the organization overall, but she wants to even join the movement and even play unified sports. And so that's just a powerful. I'll have to let you know, because I mean, I'm sure the marketing team might like that. That's a powerful story right there.
Absolutely.
And it's not particularly my story, but the unified partner. Yeah.
And that's a huge part of my job in community engagement, is trying to educate people on the different opportunities that we have across. There's something for everybody, and I think like you talked about, donor, coach, volunteer, family member, board member, committee member. And that's unified partner. There's so many opportunities. So, maybe another episode, another day, Daniel.
I know. Yeah. So we're kind of going off of Team Illinois, but yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back on to kind of go more in depth about ways to get people to be involved in volunteer. So yeah, definitely, you know how to get in touch with me, so you can just reach out. Before we get to the final question, as we talk about the legacy of these USA Games, because we're gonna pull it back into the main topic of this series. Finally, what do you hope that the community takes away from these 2026 USA Games? Not just during the event, during the week and a half that we're all in Minnesota, all following along at home. Or I think on TV, I want to say ESPN is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that's announced yet, but by the time this gets out, it will be announced.
Yeah. But because this is not live, so yeah. By the time, hopefully we don't have to edit that out.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, actually people can watch the whole entire opening ceremonies on ESPN that Saturday, or it will be re-aired, which is really exciting.
Awesome. Yeah. So by the time you guys all hear this, definitely tune into the I think the official broadcast partner. Yeah, awesome. So as we talk about the legacy of the games, what do you hope that the community takes away from these 2026 USA Games? Not just during the event, during the week and a half that will in Minnesota or following along at home, but long after the closing ceremony. We're going to try to kind of highlight the legacy of the games in the last couple episodes of this series on this podcast series. But from your perspective, what do you hope that the legacy of these USA Games will be?
Yeah, well, Daniel, I think that you kind of speak to it and you emanate just how capable our athletes are. Our athletes, I don't want people to focus on disability. It's all about ability and what they are able to do. And I think the games just truly help showcase that. Daniel, your podcast helps showcase that. And I hope that people follow along and just see that they're just like anybody else, and that they, like I said, it's not about their disability, it's about their ability, and they are able and should have the opportunity to compete just like any other athlete. And I think that is what is so incredible about USA Games. I mean, ESPN is covering it, which is amazing. So our athletes are going to be on ESPN just like they should be, just like every other athlete. So I hope that legacy carries on in everyday life. They can have a job, they can live independently, they can run podcasts. Like they are just like anybody else, and their disability shouldn't define them. And I know that, and I see that every day, and I want others to be able to see that. So I hope that, if people follow along USA Games or whatever it might be, that they can see just how incredible our athletes are, and that they're just like anybody else.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. And want to just touch on one phrase that you said, that us athletes are more like than different than other people. Former Sergeant Shriver Global Messenger David Egan. I don't know if you know David Egan from Virginia, but he has a book, and actually a previous guest on this series told me I should maybe finally read that book on the plane, because I've had it sitting next to my bed for about 2 or 3 years. And so, but his book is titled More Like Than Different, My Life with Down Syndrome, I believe. And so perfect. And that's even one of my dreams, is to, by the time Special Chronicles celebrates the 20th anniversary in 2028, I would like to write a book of my memoir and story. But yeah, I'm glad that you highlighted that as the legacy of the games, to really follow us athletes and include us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got one final question, because we don't just want our listeners to learn from us and listen to our stories, but we got, as you know, the inclusion revolution is a big part of this movement, a big part of Special Olympics, and it's even a big part of Special Chronicles as well, with Teen, my volunteer business manager and content producer and copy editor. And my girlfriend Georgia and like it's all inclusive, both Special Olympics, Special Chronicles. And so this final question will kind of give our listeners that call to action to bring inclusion into their communities, into their homes and workplaces and schools and events. And so let's go ahead and roll that bumper to introduce that final question.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
equality,
dignity,
and the recognition of our
shared humanity. We will not stop
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
So just like I've done ever since I got back from the 2019 World Games, I'll ask you this as well. What does inclusion mean to you?
I think inclusion means just treating anybody like you want to be treated yourself. I think inclusion doesn't see disability. I think that inclusion, you don't have to treat somebody different just because they look differently or talk differently or act a little differently. They're just like anybody else. And I think inclusion is, treating them just like you would want to be treated, as if they did not have a disability. See their ability and not their disability.
Awesome. I love that. That's a perfect way that you explain how inclusion doesn't see disability. I think that's gonna that has to be a clip that we'll have to share for this interview. And so awesome. I love that. Thank you again, I'm Katelin, for coming on the program today, and we'll have to have you on again. Funny, even the previous guest with Coach Matt, we said, we're gonna, because he's celebrating the 50th anniversary. So I said, well, we're gonna have to have him back on as well. So it's,
you're getting a good lineup.
Yeah, I know. It's the schedule is already very full. But
right.
Yeah, thank you again, Katelin, for taking the time to come on our World to Special Olympics USA Games series.
Thanks for having me, Daniel, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you. And thank you again, Katelin, for everything that you do and for giving us a look at the impact that local programs and staff have on this movement. It's clear that the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games are powered not only by athletes, coaches, and families, but also by the dedicated people who build community, create opportunities, and make inclusion possible every day. Thanks for listening to World to Special Olympics 2026 USA Games, a Special Chronicles podcast series. We are athletes, we are stories, we are moments from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. Catch every episode of the 10-part series at specialchronicles.com/2026USA Games. That's specialchronicles.com/2026USA Games, or scan the QR code right above. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and follow and share it with someone who believes in the power of support. And join us next time as we continue to highlight the incredible athletes and communities preparing for the Special Olympics 2026 USA Games. I'm your host, Daniel Smrokowski. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode. And remember, choose to include.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.